What's good, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? JDaisy here with the JDaisy gaming channel. Here with a little tiny casual game that I've been staring at for a while and finally picked up during the Steam sale, Slime Ranchers. The premise of this game is you are given a ranch on a planet, a distant planet I hope, and all the wildlife are little blob type slimes. Each one has its own characteristics and diets that they prefer, and pretty much it's a management farming type game, except with slimes instead of cattle. Kind of the base ones are like these pink slimes that'll eat anything, and you have blue slimes that only eat meat, and you have the cat slimes which only eat meat, and so pretty much it's a farming game where you can either survive off the land as it naturally grows, and you have to go out and get carrots and these fruits before the the wild animals go ahead and eat it. Or you can start gardens and do that. And the whole thing is getting their poop, or in the game they call it plort. And you take the plort and you sell it for money, and that's how you make money, and you upgrade, you get more farmland, you do, and the whole cycle repeats. It's really kind of a fun, interesting little game because like each of the slimes can mix with a other type of slime. So if you have a blue slime and you have a pink slime, if you feed the blue slime the pink slime's poop or the plort, it'll turn into a blue pink slime. Or if you have a cat one and a pink one, it'll turn into a cat slime. Or if you have a fat one and they're all interchangeable depending on what you feed them. And it's still in early access, I believe, so it's still a work in progress, but it's really well built for an early access. I don't think it's alpha, I think it's beta. Game, they're still adding on to it. There's still like plots of land that haven't been quite developed. There's no real story to it. It's like a Stardew Valley or a farming simulator type game where, hey, here's all the stuff you can do, here's where you can do it, make money to upgrade things to go on and do this. I've played probably about 3 hours of it. It's not the most exciting thing after a while because I just have the regular base pink slimes and was surviving perfectly fine off those. It does have a market value that goes up and down depending on how much you sell them. So like started off the game getting like $5 per plort. And then since I just kept doing that, it got to $3 per plort, but I don't think it would ever let it drop down to 1. But even if it did, the animals in the wild poop anyways, so you can pick up that stuff and then sell it to the market. So it's a little exploitable in that regard, which is kind of a downfall of. I get what it wants. It wants you to, get better slimes and upgrade and get the different areas so you can have one of each and have I kind of had a small little farm going where I had the ones that only ate meat, that I had chickens that were being raised just to feed to the meat ones, and the meat ones were to be mixed with my pink ones to get better money that way. Because if you mix the two, like I was saying, you mix a pink and a cat, now when it poops you both get the cat and the pink one, so you're virtually doubling your money. And there's more rare slimes, like there's ones that only come out at night, or there's the famed golden slime, which you see maybe once in your whole game. If you get it, it's plort is worth like 100 to 200 of the money currency, whatever it is. And as you progress in the game, you can upgrade your whole game is done with a little vacuum sucker thing. And as the more you go, the more money you put into it, you can make it hold more per slot. You can open more slots. You can have it suck up water because there are slimes that only can survive in water. There's slimes that can only survive in dark, and there's all sorts of stuff like that. So you upgrade yourself as well as you get a jetpack. I recommend getting the jetpack as soon as you can because it unlocks these different little nooks and crannies that you can get to that have a lot more of the wild fruit and the wild slimes and stuff like that. As well as you upgrade it, not only are you upgrading, the buying more land, you can upgrade the pens that you put them in and buy new pens. So like I had so many of the pink slimes that I had to put a higher wall and a fence on top of the wall to keep them from hopping out. Now in a real world, in probably the application of the game, you shouldn't have that many of them. You should, only have enough that you can hold them within. But I was just seeing how many I could shove in one area. As well as you can make like a pond for the water one, so only they can stay in there. Or if you unlock the cave area, you can shove the ones that only survive in the dark in there. And there is kind of the only quote-unquote antagonist of this whole game is it's called tar. And from the best I can determine is the tar appears if there's too many of the same slime eating the same plort or something, and the tar pretty much just eats everything, eats all the any slimes in the area, any chickens, any fruit, including you. It'll hurt and kill you, and all you do is just respawn back at your place. But it will attack you, and that's about the only antagonist. Otherwise, it's a really casual game. Highly recommend it if you're looking for just a casual kind of farming game, with a very laid-back feel. I don't know what the developers are planning on doing more. There are kind of like these really large slimes are called, I don't think they're called Gordos, they're called like mega slimes or something. And if you feed them a lot of food, they poop out a key and some money and stuff, and you can unlock certain areas, which just finds you more, like, there's little boxes scattered across the land that have either some rare fruit in it, or some rare slimes, or just some money. I found like 2 or 3 of them. They're nice little things. Money is not the hardest thing to come by, as I didn't make that clear. The fruit's not the hardest thing to come by because everything resets at night. So when the night stuff comes out, it kind of resets everything. So if you run out right away in the morning, you can get all the fruit when it first spawns. You can get all the slimes when they first spawn, and so forth and so forth. So every day is pretty much just a revamp. And that's kind of where I got to the point where I was just doing the same thing over and over, which wasn't bad, but it was to the point where I just wasn't, I had to switch things up. So like I just got rid of all my pink slimes, just threw them off a cliff. And the gun gets some pretty good range, by the way. You can shoot those little suckers pretty far. And you can get certain upgrades for the cages, like an auto feeder and an auto plort collector, and like a sunshade and stuff. So there is quite a bit of customizability with it, as well as you can get like an incinerator for burning things you don't want, and a silo, which I highly recommend. Because like I said, it's an active stock market, so the more you hold on to your stuff, the more valuable it becomes, as opposed to just shooting it all in there once you first get it, because then it doesn't, But it's a fun game. I highly recommend it. If you can pick it up for $20, maybe 25, I highly recommend it. It's just a fun little game. It's kind of fun watching you just suck up all these creatures and then throw them in a cage, and then they poop out the stuff and you're selling the poop. And the sound is really good. Whoever is in charge of the sound design is really good. Everything kind of makes sense with what it's doing. Like the vacuum really sounds like a vacuum, and when you suck up the slime, they kind of make a little sound. And the plort sounds like little like Skittles being dragged across the floor. It's just a fun, casual farming style game, management style game. I wouldn't take it too seriously. If you can pick it up on a sale, I'd highly recommend it. If you guys have any more comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment box or hit me up on any of the social medias. As always, we're all in this together. Have a great one, guys.